Hey everybody, Rosematter here. Welcome to part 8 of my Tsukihime Let's Play. The last episode, it started out very wholesome and then did not end wholesomely at all. So Arcueid was pretty upset with me after I ditched her because I was, not doing well after that encounter with the bandaged guy. So she ended up in my room. We made up. We had a nice day out where we got to know more about her. She kind of like experienced human living. Just like, nice, fun, wholesome times. And then nighttime came. She got all weird, went off and killed a bunch of the dead. And then something happened where I looked at her mystic eyes and apparently just became overwhelmed and did some not great things to her, and I did make the decision to violate her, we'll say that. And the aftermath of that being that later on when we met up with her, she ended up biting me and killing me, I guess because, I don't know, she gave in to her urges, and maybe me being so violent to her, she was pissed off about that, so she gave in and killed me. So we're gonna go back and we're not gonna do the bad thing to her, and hopefully things will go better this time. So anyway, let's get back into it and see what happens next. Alright, so here we are back again, and obviously we're going to make the not horrible decision this time, which is I can't do something she doesn't want. Can't do it. I can't do anything she doesn't want again. Once I gave in to this headache and I killed her. That's why. Never again. I can't lose myself and make Arcueid cry. Even if this headache tears me apart, I won't do it. I pull back from her body. The headache disappears and my heart returns to normal. The urges rampaging inside me have also disappeared, and I finally start to comprehend what I just did. What have I can't believe it, but the memory is all too clear. How I pushed her down, how I choked her and held my knife over her, and the disgraceful things I did afterwards. I don't know what to say. Arcueid adjusts her clothes and stands up. I don't know how to apologize. Just saying sorry. How could that make it up? Arcueid, Don't worry about it. I'm the one who should apologize. She looks away uncomfortably. What are you saying? I was the one who did something wrong. If only I'd been stronger, that never would have happened. No, I don't think it was something you could have resisted, because you saw my mystic eyes. Eh? Mystic eyes? Like Revensker's eyes? Exactly. I wasn't sane earlier. I was so thirsty I couldn't control myself. That's why I found some of the dead, and I tried to replace that urge with the urge to destroy, to stave it off. Back then, I was unable to hold myself back, so that's why you saw my mystic eyes when you came. Certainly, I felt odd from the time I saw your golden eyes, but that's just that. I, with my own will. No, that's wrong. Shiki, my mystic eyes of enchantment completely captivate whoever looks upon them. I think that's why you started to feel all those sexual desires. That can't be right, because even if she wasn't controlling me, I might still like her. Anyway, this was all because of my carelessness. I'm sorry, Shiki. I manipulated your body without any regards to your feelings. Her gaze shifts away as she says this. Being apologized to like this hurts my heart, because I didn't feel like I was manipulated at all. Rather, it seems like I used it to obey my own lust. Arcueid, Don't apologize. Shiki, this was all an accident. I'll forget about it, so please forget about it too. I think it's better for the both of us that way. Saying that, she starts to walk quietly. Arcueid? I think this is enough for tonight. I killed all these dead tonight, so it's probably useless to search any further. That's fine, but what do we do with the mountain of dead bodies? If somebody finds it, there'll be trouble. There's no need to worry. When something becomes a vampire and dies, it won't leave a trace. Those who refuse to return to the earth become ash to be scattered in the wind once they die. They will return and disperse on their own in a while. Without turning around, she disappears from the alley with weak steps. I can't stop her now. I still feel the sensation of Arcueid on my hands. Idiot! What a stupid idiot I am, I groan to myself. In the alley which became a stage of tragedy, I look up at the moon in remorse. It's morning. I open my eyes and put on the glasses near my bed. Looking out the window, I see a cloudless blue sky. Even though a flawless morning greets me, I can't help but feel down. There's no need to wonder why. What happened with Arcueid last night sticks in the back of my mind, and the accompanying guilt troubles me. She said we should just forget about it, but I can't forget such a thing. I look at both my hands. Those fingers still remember how Arcueid felt. Even now, I remember the texture of her skin and her cool, gliding body temperature. I wasn't thinking it all back then, but I understand it all now. After doing such a thing, Arcueid said to forget it and pretend like it never happened. But while I regret it totally, I can't even forget one little bit of it. What I regret is not being able to control myself back then. If I didn't touch her like some animal, if I touched her more like a human, how would things have... I knew it. I didn't lose myself by looking into her golden eyes. I didn't realize it, but I was caught up in her a long time ago. To realize such a simple thing just now. The morning in the Tohno mansion is the same as always. Hisui comes to wake me. Akiha and Kohaku-san are in the sitting room, and we greet each other briefly before we go to school. The same as always, yet I feel so empty. I can't even respond properly when people talk to me, and I leave the mansion vacantly. The students streaming through the gate are all bright and cheerful. Oh yeah, today's Saturday. My sense of time has totally disappeared since Arcueid came into my life. The first time I met her was on a Friday. A week ago in the morning, she was waiting for me at the intersection in front of the school. She was smiling, I think. Come to think of it, she was smiling. Even though she was waiting for the one who killed her, she was waiting for the killer Tohno Shiki with excitement in her eyes. I wonder why. If she comes tonight, maybe I'll ask her. After thinking aloud, my spirits sank further. She probably won't come to the park. The feeling that last night was our final meeting turns over in my mind. My heart is heavy and everything else simply feels empty. I may not ever see her again. Regret hangs around me like a leaden chain. I sit at my desk. It's about 5 minutes until homeroom starts. I stare outside blankly, not wanting to do anything. Yo, delinquent, you skipped class yesterday. What the heck were you doing, Tohno-kun? I let out a heavy sigh. Usually I would, but today I don't feel like talking with Arahiko at all. What's with you? You don't look happy at all. You didn't come to school yesterday, and now you come back an empty shell. If you're like that, school's no fun. Arahiko slumps his shoulders exaggeratedly. Arahiko, sorry, but can you leave me alone today? If I'm not here, you can always talk with Senpai. Actually, isn't that better for you? Huh? Senpai? I don't know any third-year students. What are you saying? Ciel Senpai's in third year, not second. Well, sometimes you think she's younger, but Senpai is a Senpai after all. Ciel Senpai? Who's that? Are there any foreign students at our school? He seriously tilts his head in thought. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. It's been a while since I played this, because I was away. So yeah, I forgot about the fact that, apparently Ciel is like, I don't know, wiped the memories that Arahiko doesn't even remember her? What are you saying? Senpai's Japanese. No, wait, no one ever said she was Japanese. Well, no one said she was, but everyone called her Ciel Senpai. That's what I'm saying. Who is this Senpai? What's wrong, Tohno? Are you sick or something? I can't hear his banter. What? That's right. Why didn't I realize such an obvious inconsistency? Ciel isn't a Japanese name at all. Even though I know her, I don't even know her full name. I don't even know what class she's in. To begin with, when I first met her, why did I feel like I knew her for a long time? My chair clatters as I quickly stand up. What's wrong, Tohno? You've been acting too funny. I'm going to the office. Sorry, but can you say that I am here during attendance? Turning away from Arahiko, whose head is tilted in confusion, I dash out of the classroom. I investigate the third-year roster for the name Ciel, but, as expected, it isn't anywhere to be seen. To be sure, I ask the teachers in the office, but none of them remember Ciel Senpai. The end of class. Being a Saturday right after homeroom, all my classmates scatter and run out of the room. Saturday is finally here, but I don't feel like doing anything. Feeling like the dead, I walk home by myself. Welcome back, Shiki-sama. Hisui greets me as I return. Even though she's waited all this time, I can't even return a greeting, and I go to my room. After dinner, I return to my room. It's close to the promised time with Arcueid. Shall I be going? I don't even know if she's coming, but still, I swore never to break a promise again, so I have to go. I arrive at the park shortly before 10. There's absolutely no one here. Sitting on the bench, I stare at the clock and wait for Arcueid to come. Alright, so we're going to keep waiting. Alright, so we will skip this because what happened last time, if I remember correctly, is because, you know, I did the whole assaulting her thing. It did not turn out well in my favor, and I got a bad end for it. So hopefully, because I didn't, you know, I stopped myself, things will go better this time. So we'll go ahead and skip this and we'll get to, you know, the change in the direction of the ending. Arcueid's arms stretch out. Like that, she holds my body. My breath stops in my throat as I call her name. Her bloodshot eyes, her sharp teeth like a beast's. The overwhelming pressure that drains me of any will to resist. The thing with the teeth nearing my neck isn't the woman I know. I can't do anything. I can't even lift a finger. I'm going to be eaten. This is what it meant. Oh, yeah, because she bit me last time, I think, right? This is what it means to be preyed upon. Her teeth push against my neck. The only thing filling my mind is fear. A shriek comes out. I almost think for a second how pitiful it is for me to make such a sound. Maybe it was just my imagination, but it feels like she freezes in place. But before I can confirm this, wham! A violent explosion erupts before me and Arcueid's bodies smash sideways. What? As if she were hit by a car, she's blown back several meters, but she gets up like it was nothing. Arcueid stands there, stunned. I can't even think of what to do either. And then, you are going to suck his blood. Ah, is this the return of Ciel? A cold, scolding voice. That is your true nature, Arcueid Brunstood. The merciless voice towers from above. Wait, so that implies then, if I remember correctly, where she actually did bite my neck and she drained me. So Ciel just watched that happen and she didn't interfere? I guess maybe she wanted to confirm that she was like a cold-blooded killer, but she didn't stop her last time from killing me. I look up at the moon. There stands the robed figure from that one night. Senpai. There's no mistake. No matter how I look at it, it's Ciel Senpai. She doesn't even look at me, but she glares at Arcueid crouching far away. Even if you destroy your kin, you cannot change the fact you are a vampire yourself. I don't know why you drew him close to you, but didn't you think it would end this way? Her voice is completely different from normal, neither strict nor kind. Her emotionless voice is horridly devoid of any humanity. This is the point where, like, I would appreciate some voice acting, but it is what it is. Maybe I'm kind of interested. I'm liking this, like, the story so far. I'm thinking, like, maybe after I finish the whole game, maybe I will get the remake version just to see it, like, with voices, because it'd be really cool, you know, to see, like, what they sound like. And apparently there is, like, extra content as well. Without making a noise, Senpai descends from the streetlight to the ground. Usually it's nothing I mess with, but I will not overlook you trying to kill an ordinary person. Really, Ciel? Because you let it happen last time. It isn't part of the plan to fight you, but if there is a need, we can settle our score. Don't be ridiculous. I don't want anything to do with you. And, she looks at Senpai hatefully, I never intended to kill him. That did not sound convincing at all. It's not like you don't realize what you did earlier, and what kind of yell he gave out when he saw you. I don't care if you hate me, but you took your insanity and directed it at him. Shall we ask him how he felt? With a turn of her oh gosh, this is awkward. With a turn of her head, Senpai casts a glance at me for the first time. Arcueid averts her gaze painfully. Silence fills the park. Can I actually be like, yes, I thought you were going to kill me, or like, no, I trust you? A footstep. The robed senpai takes only one step towards me. Get back, vampire. You had no right to stay by his side from the beginning. What? That's not true. I don't know who senpai is or what happened to Arcueid earlier, but I can at least declare this, because I myself want to be by her side. You're wrong. What's with you coming out of nowhere, wearing weird clothes and speaking like you understand everything? So, I'm curious, because, like, we can do the Ciel route. Am I going to side with Ciel next time and, like, How is that going to affect my relationship with Arcueid? Arcueid's definitely a vampire, but she hasn't drunk blood even once. That was probably just a joke, and you don't have any right to— Please be quiet, Tohno-kun. She hasn't drank blood even once. Certainly these past 800 years, there is no record of her having any victims. However, just shut up. I don't care to listen to whatever strange story you have to say. Look, if you try to get in her way, I will not forgive even you. After all, I'm helping her because I want to. It's none of your business to interfere. Tohno-kun, an inkling of emotion enters her voice. I understand. If you say so, then I won't do anything else. However, Senpai changes her gaze to Arcueid. Arcueid looks away, not at me or Senpai. As he said, Arcueid brunstood. Do you still intend to be by his side after this? Arcueid doesn't answer. She raises her head to look at me once, and then runs off into the night. Why are you leaving, Arcueid? I start to run after her, but my feet don't leave the ground. Senpai walks slowly over to me. I won't let you follow her. I can't let you be killed, Tohno-kun. In her hands are thin, rod-like blades. One of them stands by my feet, pinning my shadow to the ground. You cannot move until that is removed. No matter how hard you struggle, your shadow will struggle just as hard not to separate from you. Stop fooling around. I'll lose her. I grip the blade below me, but no matter what, I can't pull it out. I forgot to mention this, but I'm the only one who can remove it, so please give up. Saying that, she stops in front of me. I glare at her. She takes in my gaze, then sighs. Geez, really? Why do you go overboard so much, Tohno-kun? Senpai? I know, I don't hate her myself, but this is for both of your sakes. I'll let you go soon, so please listen to what I have to say for a while. She looks up hesitantly. This is the leisurely senpai I know from school. Is that why? Even though I can't grasp the situation, I start to calm down. This is abrupt, so I am prepared for you to hate me. But I have something I have to tell you. I'm very sorry for restraining you like this. Senpai bows her head. It's okay. I'm not angry, so please don't apologize. You've already helped me once, Senpai, and I want to ask you some things as well. That does help, but what would you like to ask me, Tohno-kun? Isn't it obvious? Who are you, Senpai? Dressed like that is smashing away Arcueid, and I'm the only one who remembers you at school. Senpai gives a sigh in response. Then let me ask, Tohno-kun, what do you think about me? I've only heard some things from Arcueid about the church and stuff. That's right. As you know, I am an exorcist of the church. My specialty is hunting vampires. I can't answer anything else, but I think that's enough for you. Enough? Why would someone like you even come to my school? If you wanted to exterminate vampires, wouldn't you be searching the city like Arcueid? No, there was a reason for me coming to your school, Tohno-kun. Right. Since this overlaps with the talk I want to give, I'll ask the questions from now on. Tohno-kun, you seem to have teamed up with her, but do you know anything about what she's after? Yeah, well, I heard he's the old type of vampire who drinks the blood of humans to expand his territory. It seems you know about the two main classifications of vampires. Then I think you know about how he's imperfectly immortal. Yeah, about how he needs to drink blood to maintain his body. But on the other hand, as long as he can drink blood, he'll never age, right? Yes, but you can't say he's immortal in the end, can you? Besides, there are ones for whom drinking blood does not maintain their body fully. And there are some that are exterminated by us. You can't call something that can die like that immortal. Well, certainly he's not immune to death. I don't know what Senpai is trying to get at here. Is this related to why you came to my school? Of course. Geez, please wait until I'm finished. Okay, but if you could give me the short version, I'd appreciate it. Oh, really? If that's the case, then I'll explain it as directly as I can. Senpai seems a little disappointed. Then, a simple explanation. Anyway, the immortality of the vampires known as dead apostles is very unstable. For them, it is merely a prolongation of their lifespans, many times that of normal people. A question, not only are their lifespans long, but they also have unnatural powers. Is there any relation? Not really. Their individual powers are things they had when they were humans, strengthened over hundreds of years. Continuing their studies from their human lives gives them these extraordinary powers. The dead apostles each have different goals. What they each decide to study is different. Because of that, there was one who seriously studied immortality. He became immortal, and yet he still researched it? Yes, the instant the dead apostles become vampires, they assume they have reached the limit of immortality as humans. However, he felt it was just a degeneration. He did not want something so imperfect, and he wanted to come up with a more perfect immortality. Senpai seems to be more engaged, but as long as something has shape, it cannot but perish. There isn't anything that can withstand the passage of time. Vampires merely have a resistance higher than that of humans. Anything living internalizes death the moment it's born, even if in possession of a body which does not age. As long as it exists, it cannot escape death. To escape death is to die. This contradiction is a problem that cannot be solved. Yeah, everyone has death within them. If there's someone who doesn't, then that's probably something that never existed in the first place. Even Arcueid can die during the day. There can't be anything that cannot die in this world. That's the reason, but he concluded if he could preserve his existence after death, then he would be immortal. It isn't in our doctrine, but that's what you call reincarnation. Even if you die, if you could preserve your sense of self and start over again as a new human, that would be eluding death. Well, but he isn't completely annihilated. He isn't dead, so it's actually not quite eluding death. Reincarnation? You mean if he dies, he'll start over as a baby? Yes, while he is alive, he chooses his next host, and when it's born, he transmits all this information of his self. His information stays deep within the baby until it matures, or until it gains its intelligence as its own. As soon as the baby has the intelligence to succeed his self, the baby becomes a new vampire that is him. Wait a minute, what's that? Don't tell me he does surgery on it while it's in the mother or something like that. No, it's not anything medical, because the instant his body is destroyed, he reincarnates into the body he chose as his next body. I'm wondering if this whole thing about, like, has he done this before, or is he just studying how to do it? I wonder if this is related at all to, like, if he's died before. There was, like, that boy that I killed. I wonder if I don't know if there's any relation to, like, this kid that I killed when I was little, to this whole thing about, like, reincarnating. I could just be looking too much into it. I said all of his information earlier, but to use simpler terms, think of it as his soul. It wouldn't be quite correct to say his soul propagates through the air and takes over someone's body, but it's similar to an electromagnetic wave. In this case, the human brain is what does the transmitting and the receiving. His exceptional point is he took this soul, which is incalculable and something that disperses as soon as it leaves the envelope of the body, and processed it as something that could be transmitted. Okay, so this implies he's done it before. I'm sorry, Senpai, I can't see how this relates to you coming to my school. It is related, because this reincarnating vampire is in your school, Tohno. Oh shit, okay. Huh? The vampire I'm pursuing and the vampire Arcueid is pursuing are the same. Although, she's probably only referred to him as the enemy. Don't tell me it's Arahiko. He's literally the only other person that I've, like, met in the school that is, like, someone that has a sprite and someone that I know of. I nod silently. Certainly, she's only used the word enemy, but she never told me anything about him. Her duty was to kill vampires, but since he appeared, she only pursued him. He's reincarnated 17 times already. She has destroyed him every time. Every time. But even if he dies, he'll just be reborn, right? Isn't that pointless? Yes, he's killed by her, reincarnates each time, and is killed again by her. The cycle that has been repeated over and over. If Arcueid has the power to kill not the body, but the meaning, then this probably wouldn't be happening. Senpai looks down a little, and it seems like she's gritting her teeth. I don't know why. However, it appears that Senpai also has some grudge against the enemy like Arcueid does. Senpai, what kind of vampire is he? He was originally a man, but that can change depending on his body that he reincarnates into. The troublesome part of this dead apostle is that his reincarnations are hard to find. Because he's properly born as a human baby and has parents, he transforms into a vampire only when he reaches the age where he can do everything at a satisfactory level. Until then, that human shows no hint of being a vampire. But once he awakens, he uses the relationships he gained until that time to blend perfectly into society. I feel like him being the vampire being Arhiko would just be like too easy to figure out. Like maybe it's just that straightforward, but maybe I feel like I'm just used to twists with these types of games, you know? It'd be wild if like one of the maids, they do keep saying he. It'd be wild if like one of them actually ended up becoming like one of the maids is actually like the vampire. I heard the church detects his presence usually after a whole town has turned to the dead. Wait a minute. Well, this new host, he wouldn't even realize he's a vampire until he awakens? Yes, but it isn't like two people sharing one body. The baby born as a human is still him. Depending on its environment, it's a good or a bad. Is it me? I feel like Arcueid, is Arcueid just getting chummy with me? I would explain though why, like, I instinctively just went and killed her, because it's like, despite the fact that, oh shit, that'd be wild if I was the vampire that Arcueid was hunting but she didn't realize it, but I feel like she'd be able to detect it, right? That can't be right. But like, it was basically when I saw her, it was on sight. It was like deep down, I had like this subconscious feeling like, oh, she's gonna kill me, so I have to kill her first. And I mean, I do have special powers, right? I don't know. That would be a crazy twist though. Until then, the human shows no hints of being a vampire, but once he awakens, he uses the relationships he gains until that time to blend perfectly into society. I heard the church detects his presence usually after a whole town has turned to the dead. No. But even that, the instant he awakens, goes away. To sum it up, once he dies, he's reborn into the next body, and once that body gains intelligence, it gains the previous life's self and becomes a vampire. What is it? Just hearing this, it's terribly scary. That's strange. I don't really understand it, but it's strange, because what you call vampires, they don't just suddenly become vampires, right? So even if their old self awakens, wouldn't the body still remain human? No, reincarnation isn't the transmitting of personality, it's the transmission of the soul. Once bitten by a true ancestor, not just the body, but the soul is forever soiled. He transmits all of his information called his soul to his next self, so when he awakens, the body becomes one of a vampire. But what? As you said, just that is too weak. So he selects his next host while he's alive. The family he's born into must meet two conditions. The first one being of wealth. Being into a... maybe that's why Ciel has just been kind of hanging around, like, wanting to get close to me. She's just, like, making... I mean, I fit the that criteria. Being born to a family of high social standing, property, and money makes it easier to make the whole town into vampires later on. And there's another requirement. This is the important one. That definitely sounds like me. But amongst normal people like us, there are also people that carry special powers. Not all magic, which is a mystic power that can be learned, but rather special abilities from birth. Such people are normally called demonic children or psychics. These special abilities are genetic, so they're inherited, passed on by blood. He chooses those families that have something not human in their lineages. A family with wealth of influence and inhuman power. Those are the requirements for his host, Tohno Shiki-kun. Oh shit, she just saying straight up like, I think that's you. I think that's you. There's still something weird. I think the story's weird. What's weird is that Senpai's telling me the story. His name. Yes? Did you say something? His name. You keep saying enemy and him, but how can I understand that? Can't you tell me his name? I yell at her, not even knowing why I'm angry. Oh shit, she not... Is he like deep down? He's like, I know it's me. She doesn't look flustered at all. She only looks at me sympathetically. No problem. Among the dead apostles, he is known as the Serpent of Akasha. This is due to the serpent being the symbol of infinity and cycles. Shedding its skin and gaining a new body, it was perfect for his name. On the other hand, he is recorded in the church as the infinite reincarnator. His human name, okay, is Michael Roa Valdungjon. He is also simply referred to as Roa. Roa. Never heard of it. Well, of course. It's not like I've ever met him. Okay. I think maybe Arcueid had brought that name up before, but I was waiting for her to be like, it's you. In short, you came to my school because you knew this Roa was there? Yes, it truly was a sketchy feeling, but I knew this incarnation of Roa was there. I could sense Roa far better than Arcueid. That's why I came here much earlier than Arcueid and already found out who his new host is. Oh, the voice stops for some reason. Senpai looks at me sympathetically like before. Okay. I explained this before, but Roa... Okay, it's me. She's like, I gotta kill you. But Roa chooses fine lineages and excellent bodies for its next host. So once you find out Roa's in this place, the answer comes naturally when you investigate the families which meet his criteria. That's why she's here. She's like, I can sense him better than Arcueid, so that's why I came here. In this area, there's only one old family that meets his criteria. I don't have to say any more, do I? Tohno Shiki-kun. I was hoping when she said like that name, I was like, oh, it's not me. It's some other guy named Roa. That's why I'm saying this conversation is weird. Ha, ha, ha ha. I'm the one laughing dryly. What are you saying, Senpai? That can't be. Senpai doesn't answer. Almost as if she's saying that I'm this Roa's host. But there can be no doubt. The Tohno family has something different in its blood. It has power and the latent superhuman ability that Roa needs. The power you used to defeat the dead earlier wasn't human, so this time Roa's host is unmistakably Tohno Shiki. I don't understand. I don't understand a single thing she says. Why? Why can you be so certain, Senpai? What? Because I'm the one who decides all this, or decided all this. She says something I can't understand once more. What? But it's different. You were the one killed, yet you're the one who survived. The one killed survived, and the one who killed is dead. I think all the mistakes began there. She says so as if she's on the verge mentally. Senpai pulls out the sword from the ground by my feet. That is all I had to tell you. I'll leave the rest for you to decide, Tohno-kun. Leave it to me? But according to your story, To be honest, I don't know either. You are an incredibly ordinary person, like a student you could find anywhere. My intuition has to be wrong, because you're someone who shouldn't be in a world like mine. With a sad smile, Senpai leaps an incredible distance from me, as if trying to tell me she's someone else now. An unreachable, far distance. I still can't leave Arcueid alone. Unless I chase after her now, I feel like I'll never see her again. You're going after her, Tohno-kun? Senpai's voice returns to the way it was when she drove off Arcueid. An inflectionless voice devoid of emotion. Yeah, because you're a person of the church, I know she's an enemy of yours. But a lot of things have happened, and I agreed to help her, so I have to look for her. So, the person that Arcueid is looking for is me, but she doesn't realize it yet. But now that I have it's not for certain, but even if it's a potential thing, shouldn't I want to stay as far away from Arcueid as possible, considering that I might be killed by her? Laughing as if it were a joke, I tell her later and turn around. Please wait. If you go after her, you'll only get killed. You must not see Arcueid Brunstood again. Only get killed? Well, you may not believe me, but she really doesn't suck blood. She's quite a good person, actually. I know. Certainly she hasn't drunk human blood. However, that's at an end. A true ancestor who gives in to the vampiric impulse once can only fall downward from there. My feet freeze in place. Senpai? True ancestor? Vampiric impulse? What do you mean? I mean, the desire to drink blood. Tohno-kun, the vampires called dead apostles mostly become vampires after a vampire sucked their blood. To preserve their bodies, they need the blood of humans. In other words, they can't escape drinking blood if they want to live. But the ones that were vampires from the beginning are different. The dead apostles were originally humans like us. So maybe you can still call them human. However, if someone were born a vampire, can you call it human? What are you saying, Senpai? I'm asking about Arcueid. This is about her. I won't let you say you never thought about it. If dead apostles become vampires from vampires, there has to be an origin. An existence that is a vampire from the beginning. These vampires that are a completely different species from us, we call the true ancestors. Those who do not need human blood and have special powers equivalent to, no, surpassing the dead apostles. She's a member of the royal family of the true ancestors. Although they don't really have any rank structure, so saying royal isn't quite accurate. So what, Senpai? This conversation, this doesn't have anything to do with me. It does. These vampires known as true ancestors have a deeper impulse to drink blood than the dead apostles. Her eyes are completely emotionless. Like mirrors, they show my agitated face. Do you see, Tohno-kun? The true ancestors can live without human blood. However, maybe a mistake happened in their evolution, or maybe there's no such thing as a perfect existence, but anyway, there is a period when they desire the blood of humans. The instant a human has his blood drunk by them, he no longer remains human. True ancestors are on a scale different from humans as creatures. When the powerful life of a true ancestor touches the blood of a human, the sheer difference means a human cannot remain human after such contact. Like a small wave absorbed into a larger wave, that person becomes a part of the true ancestor. To simplify, it becomes a doll. The problem is there's no reason for their vampiric impulses. There's no reason, so there's no way to stop it. The fatal flaw in an otherwise perfect existence. You can call it a terminal illness. Anyway, they live by resisting their urge to drink blood. It isn't a matter of using the mind to put up with it. They use all of their powers to resist this urge and seal it within themselves by force. By using their enormous powers on themselves, they are suppressing their vampiric impulse. But if something external causes them to lose their power, what do you think happens to their ability to suppress it? Oh, like me? Like I caused her to lose her power because I killed her? Something external causes them to lose power, such as receiving a wound which requires power to heal, or using power to regenerate after being killed completely. So let's say she has 10 units of power, and say she uses 7 of them to resist the urge to drink blood inside her. But if, for some reason, she loses 5 out of the 10 units, then even if she uses all her remaining power, she can only use 5 units of power to resist. That's not enough. Then what will it take away from her? And what happens to those true ancestors who couldn't resist, senpai? They drink human blood, of course. After that, nothing. Once they give in, they can only keep on falling. Once a true ancestor knows the taste of blood, I hear the urge becomes many times more painful than before. As a result, they aren't able to resist the urge anymore. And when that happens, they become the dreaded demon lords. True ancestors are certainly a superior race, but since they bind themselves to resist the vampiric impulse, they can never utilize their full powers. But once they fall, there is no longer the need to restrain themselves. Then they just become demons which suck human blood for their own pleasure. I remember how Arcueid appeared earlier, her bloodshot eyes, her wild breathing, her breath assailing my neck. Lies. It's a lie. Because she certainly said she's scared of drinking blood. Ah, yeah, she's scared because once she does, she knows she won't be able to stop. If there's any salvation, it's the urge is instantaneous. The true ancestors keep just one subordinate for the time the urge gets too great to suppress. That's the beginning of those called dead apostles. There's something that's already dead. A vampire kept alive for the sake of easing the pain of the true ancestors. That is the form of the vampire in this city. But she doesn't have such a thing. No, until now, she never needed one. Special among all the true ancestors, she was able to resist the vampiric impulse using her will alone. Then there's no problem. Once her wound heals, once her body returns to normal, she could resist it, right? Technically, but there is a limit, Tohno-kun. The vampiric impulse has no end, and it will not go away. The resisted urges which build again and again will eventually overflow their vessel. The longer they live, the larger the vampiric impulse in them gets, and when they can no longer restrain themselves with their own power. When the impulse overwhelms their power, their lives are ended by others. That is the lifespan for those without lifespans. But Arcueid's okay. She's just weak because of me, so after a few days, she'll... Perhaps, but she's reached her limit already. Even though she was only actually active for a few years. The amount of time of her existence does not change. The urge which has grown inside her will soon consume her. There's no denying that now is not the time. She, Arcueid's life, cannot be saved. Thump. For the first time. Not because of my anemia, but someone else's words. And of course, oh my gosh, how did I not? I may have mentioned it before, but the whole like anemia thing, like him having like, anemia is when you have low iron, right? It's like something to do with your blood. So it's like deep down I needed blood, and that's why I'm anemic, I guess, because I am the vessel of a vampire. Everything starts to fade away in a haze of dizziness. What does it mean? Even though she knows she's past her limit, she's still hunting vampires here. That's odd. And also, like, am I not concerned about the fact that Arcueid might discover who I am and kill me? No matter how I think about it, it's odd. It's all lies, because if she knew she was at her limit, then why would she hunt vampires for our sakes? She deals with them not for our sakes, but because it's her purpose. Purpose? Who decided that? Probably the other true ancestors. She was born in the 12th century when there were many fallen true ancestors. The true ancestors could not ignore their fallen kin, nor the dead apostles increasing in number. That's why they created something solely for killing. Without a need for anything else, the most pure true ancestor created for punishment. That is the true ancestor called Arcueid. She's like a nuclear missile without a mind of its own. Once she leaves the castle, her target is definitely destroyed. Thump, this dizziness again. Should stop saying that. She's a person. Talking about her like she's some sort of weapon makes me mad. No, she is a weapon. In the first place, she existed only for that purpose. So it seems there now is something wrong with her. It's the first time I've seen her talk like that. She never spoke any words before. Huh? Hold on. Never spoke. That's odd. Now she can't shut up. Because she never does anything extra. From long ago, for the past 100 of years, she has lived that way. Ever since she was born in the old castle amongst the mountains, never changing. Thump, my heartbeat, and the stark dizziness. What is this? This unknown scenery, these memories I've never had, they start to fill my vision. Oh, the wide castle courtyard, the unadorned grassy field inside the solitary castle. The white girl stares blankly up at the sky. She did not have any extra knowledge or freedom beyond what was needed for her purpose. She only goes outside when her target is determined. She gets taught only the information needed to definitely destroy the enemy. No one is there. No one to talk to. Not even another face to see. Oh yeah, you can definitely tell by the way that she, like, follows me around that she's just very lonely and wanted someone to talk to. After killing her target, and when she returns to the castle, her taught knowledge is washed out and she's taken to sleep. Without knowing anything, nothing other than killing vampires. There's nothing, such as the fun of speaking with someone else. The precious moments of seeing someone else and greeting them. She was excluded from all of it. Her power was strong enough to defeat the fallen true ancestors. But it's ironic, she was so powerful that she was shunned by the rest of the true ancestors. Even while praising her as the princess, no one approached her. Even while giving her a castle, her world was only the dark basement. So there was nothing to give her any feelings. That's almost enough to make me pity her for living. A parody of life. She apparently had no words or even time of her own. The true ancestors treated her only as a weapon. A weapon has no need for extra functions, such as baking bread or doing laundry. If you're going to put on extra functions, you would put on something more fit for a weapon, right? I was always taught never to do extra things. She said that before. A reason for deciding everything for herself. For having those empty eyes. That's why she never needed anyone else. No, maybe she never knew about it. All they wanted out of her was to be a superior killing machine. That's why she doesn't know anything. I don't mean something big like the meaning of life. But not even the small joy of just living normally. She was always so cheerful. Even trivial things made her so happy, so I thought she was always like that. But I was horribly wrong. She really was just enjoying those simple things. She must have enjoyed those things so much, because it's so fun. I never thought about how life could just be fun by living, like it was an uneasiness she couldn't understand. The classroom filled with the red setting sun, where she asked me those questions with a reserved voice. Even though Arcueid has existed for so long, she knows less about living than we do. If you convert it to the time she was allowed to move freely, it's amazingly short. Her lifetime was spent almost entirely in sleep. Most likely a deep, dark sleep. Really, I have enough fun just talking, you know? After dealing with all the fallen true ancestors, she did not leave the castle. Having fulfilled her purpose, the true ancestors sought her to educate her properly. However, she could not be free. Because of a slight mistake, she ended up killing all the true ancestors remaining in the castle. Maybe the one that was taught how to kill vampires really did finish her job until the very end. In the end, she was left alone. After killing all the true ancestors, she sealed herself up in the castle, in the empty castle of the true ancestors bound with 1,000 chains. Whenever Roa is reborn, she awakens from her sleep and moves around for a short time. In the middle of that fixed world, she never said a single word. That's why she's a killer down to her very core. Even though the true ancestors which bound her are now gone, she still wanders around with the sole purpose of killing vampires. She probably does not have any other fun. That's a lie. That's not what made her happy. I wasn't watching anything, like her words or her happy face. If only I looked closer, I would have known of it. I never realized how alone she was until now. All the things we feel and take for granted, such as talking with a friend about meaningless things, or the fun that lets you forget time. At the end of the day, lying down on a bed and the peacefulness of just staring at the ceiling. To her, those unimportant things were priceless moments of happiness. All of it. What is misery? It's her not even knowing how miserable she is. Such a terrible, almost comical solitude should not exist. Lies, all of it. Enough with all the difficult things. I never knew she felt such happiness from trivial things. If I could let her know such things were things she could always enjoy, that would have been such a great... Tohno-kun. Her voice returns my vision to normal. What's wrong? You suddenly went quiet and spaced out. Were you listening? No, sorry, I don't remember. I heard you speaking, but it felt like someone else was talking. Senpai nods doubtfully. In other words, It's okay. I don't care what she did or what she's like. I can't leave her alone any longer, so I'll be going. Turning away from Senpai, I start to walk towards the city. Tohno-kun, once a true ancestor fails to suppress the vampiric impulse, there's no hope for recovery. Ciel should be more concerned about taking care of me before, like, I truly awaken and start to kill people, right? Like, if I'm the vessel of this Roa guy, her whole mission should be to kill me, but I guess she's like, you seem like a cool guy, I'm sure everything will be fine. I'll trust that you won't give in to the urges, even though I already have and killed someone. I've actually killed many things. If she appears in front of you, it means she came to drink your blood. I think what she says is the truth for her, but it's a different truth than mine. It's not true, because she hasn't drunk blood yet. No, if I had not stopped her, she would have drunk your blood. Except, yeah, she did. But only because I pissed her off by, doing bad things to her before. You're wrong because she stopped. Arcueid was fine. That's why even if you didn't stop her, the result would have been the same. Yes, certainly. She stopped right then. So you're going to be on her side no matter what, Tohno-kun? Yeah, sorry, Senpai. Senpai doesn't answer. I think I hear her sigh. We may end up fighting, you know. Maybe, but I won't apologize, Senpai. There's no response from her. Just her presence getting farther away. Disappearing footsteps. Without turning around, I head towards town, shrouded by night. There is no one on the main street. Not Arcueid, not even regular people. Damn, this is the same as last night. I don't have any way of finding her. Right now, even though I want to see her so badly, I don't have any means. Even though she's in so much pain, I can't help her at all. Damn it. I'm so irritated, it drives me nuts. Somehow, I have to find her somehow. I gasp painfully. Even though I ran all through the city, I don't see her. My body is exhausted and I can't get enough air. I breathe harder. The scar on my chest throbs with my heartbeat. Until now, I've never hated this fragile body this much. I hungrily breathe in air. I can't find her. I won't find her just running around aimlessly like this. I struggle for breath. Oh, okay. I don't know why it's skipping ahead. Like, I don't, let me just go to the backlog here. Okay, so if I have any chance of finding her, it would be... Alright, so we're gonna wait in the park. I'll stay here. We promised to meet here. We still haven't fulfilled our promise for tonight. To meet here and to fight together. So if I can't break this promise, and if she thinks it's important too, Arcueid will come back here. I can only continue to believe in her and wait here. Oh, alright, we got a mature content scene. Time passes by. The clock ticks mechanically, recording the passing of each second. I feel like I'm drowning. My body doesn't want to wait a minute longer. Just sitting here waiting seems like the utmost in idiocy, and I want to run off and search for her again. But my heart is calm. Even though my body urges me to hurry, my heart remains calm. I continue waiting, staring up at the moon. It's horribly quiet. No sounds, as if the night froze everything. A quiet stillness, as if Arcueid and I were the only ones in the entire world. If I could stay in such a place, then it isn't painful at all to wait for any amount of time. So right now, I'm drowning in bliss. Only time passes by. Just 2 hours until dawn. If the day breaks, Arcueid and I will probably never see each other again. And time just passes by, and then, like a white rabbit in the snow, she unexpectedly arrives in the park. Arcueid doesn't say anything. With downcast eyes, she doesn't make a move to come closer. Arcueid, I call out to her. She doesn't respond or even look in my direction. I can't speak. I don't know what I could say to make her smile again. Right now, I feel like any words coming out of my mouth will only make her sadder. Time seems to stretch to eternity. In reality, the ticking of the clock can't have happened even close to 1,000 times. Arcueid lifts her head, looking like she's watching a dream. You wouldn't go home at all, Shiki, so I came here because I couldn't leave you alone, even though I really was thinking of going back to my room. She hesitates as she speaks, but she says this in her usual cheerful manner. Of course I wouldn't go back. Didn't I say I'd keep my promise? I still haven't had any help tonight, or haven't been any help tonight. That's enough. You don't have to do that anymore. Enough? Just what's enough, Arcueid? Doesn't it go without saying? It's just that I'm a vampire, and you're a human, Shiki. I don't have any right to receive help from you. I didn't understand that earlier, and I would have ruined you if I went a bit farther. That's why. It's enough, she whispers. What are you saying all of a sudden? I was ready for that from the time I agreed to help you. I understood far better than you that you were a vampire. Knowing that, I still said I'd help you. This is nothing I can agree with. Arcueid, you don't need to worry about what happened earlier. You were just tired and weak. I'm an idiot, so I couldn't realize your lie. You weren't in pain because of your wounds, but because of your vampiric impulses, right? Senpai told me all about it. That woman. Since when did agents from the burial agency become so talkative? Less with hate and more with exhaustion, Arcueid gives a deep sigh. I heard it all from Senpai, so I'll be direct. I don't see any problem, Arcueid. Are you gonna talk about the whole thing about you having this... what's his name? Roa guy? Like, if Arcueid doesn't already know that he is apparently in my body? You're in pain now, but you'll return to normal in a few days, right? So you don't need to worry. And about before, even though you were in so much pain, you held yourself back, didn't you? So it's alright. Just continue like we were until now. With some difficulty, Arcueid smiles weakly. Shiki, you don't understand at all. It's useless to do this. Even now, I want to drink your blood. But you only think that. Then try hard and resist it. Haven't you tried so hard like that until now? It's true. Until now, I've held myself back. No, I was able to, but I guess it's useless now. Even though the only meaning for my existence is to hunt other vampires. I did a lot of extra things. If I didn't know anything, I never would have thought of wanting anything. If I didn't rely on you and pursued the enemy by myself, it would have been all right. It would have been okay if she was by herself? Is she serious? Does she seriously believe that? With such a sad face? With such a sad voice? With such a solitary appearance and on the verge of collapse? That just pisses me off. Snap out of it, you idiot. What? Don't be ridiculous. What do you mean if you pursued the enemy by yourself it would have been alright? Because it was impossible by yourself. Because you finally realized there are things you can't do by yourself. You asked me for help, right? Then rely on me until the very end. I'll help you. No matter what happens, I'll help you, so... Don't look like that. Don't say those things. Finally, if you finally realized that life is fun, Please don't simply give up on such happiness. Shiki, are you crying? Like hell I am. Why would I cry over you? It's just that she's saying such stupid things. It makes me so angry that my emotions are going crazy. Anyway, we'll continue searching for this vampire, okay? If we can defeat this Roa guy, then you can get some rest. Then everything is solved. Isn't Roa inside of me? I mean, that's what Senpai said. Is that necessarily the case? Maybe she's mistaken, but she said that she sensed it. Then everything is solved. There aren't any problems at all. I gotta go back to the history and see if maybe I just, like, misread that, but... Okay, so I did try and go back into the backlog, but it only went a certain way. But, yeah, I thought that, Ciel said that Roa... You know, like, he was reborn into me or something like that. With terribly peaceful eyes, she gives a quiet nod. But it's too late for me, Shiki. You said I held myself back before, but I really didn't. Back then, I only stopped because you became afraid of me. Many people have been afraid of me, like a monster. So I didn't feel anything when hated or feared. But it really is strange, you know? I really didn't want you to look at me like I was a monster. But I am a monster, no matter how you look at me. She forces out a dry laugh. No, it just happened so fast. I was just surprised. That's a lie. That's a lie I can't even fool myself with. Arcueid painfully looks away. Sensei told me before that you'll only hurt the other person when you tell lies that you can't even deceive yourself with. That's why I stopped for an instant. I was scared of you looking at me like that. I would break apart if you look at me like that in the future, too. So, I won't see you anymore. What? Let's say goodbye here, Shiki. We probably associated too much with each other. She turns around swiftly. She says this while trying not to look at me. Associated too much, huh? Maybe that's true, for both me and Arcueid. We never knew much about each other. This would have never happened. I would have just returned to my normal life, and she'd have probably kept going by herself. You're right, maybe we did associate too much already, but I think we're fine like that, because isn't always being by yourself lonely? Arcueid doesn't answer. She looks so vulnerable. I want to embrace her and support her. And to be honest, I really enjoyed these past few days. I almost died, but it wasn't all bad. So let me help you until the very end. How could I sleep if I knew I left you alone? No, you don't have to worry about me. I'll kill Roa no matter what. I will destroy him even if it kills me. You've done enough already, Shiki. The city will soon return to normal, so you don't have to worry anymore. Her voice as she faces away from me has no trace of her usual brightness. I can't bear this anymore. I'm going to stop acting like this. Idiot. It's not what I'm worried about. Saying that, I draw closer to her. Arcueid tries to escape. I grab her arm from behind and make her turn around. Shiki, since you don't understand me unless I'm direct, I'll be direct. Look, I didn't agree to help you to stop the vampire in the city. I really don't have any fine ideals such as protecting the city I live in. Right, I was only fooling myself. The reason isn't anywhere near to being that noble. I just like you. I wanted to help you, so I agreed to help you. So now, I just can't leave you. I reveal it all, and I embrace Arcueid straight on. Oh. Her gasp isn't one of resistance. She simply stands there in astonishment, accepting my embrace. Thump. There's nothing wrong with you wanting to drink my blood. Thump. Shiki, it hurts. My arms hurt. Thump. That'll make it even, because Thump. I've always wanted you too. Even now, I consumed with passion just hearing your heartbeat. Thump. From her arms I hold. From her body up against mine, I can feel the beating of her heart. No, Shiki, it's just for right now. It's only a whim of yours. Thump, thump. Just hearing the sound makes me want to hug her to death. Even so, if I love you right now, Arcueid, that's my truth. I don't care about what happens later. Thump. Or do you hate me? Thump. A heartbeat skips. No, I can't answer that. The heartbeat stops. In its place, her arms wrap around my back like falling rain. At first, just gently, then hard, as if answering me. Her arms squeeze my body into hers. Our embrace lasted only an instant. I don't even know which one of us separated first, but as if we had planned it, we both let go. She blushes, looking away. There's only about an hour until dawn. As the night ends, so does Arcueid's time. I can't bear parting with her anymore. If it can be forgiven, right now, I want to... My room. Eh? Wow, this is escalating. Can we go to my room? If you say you're going to protect me, I don't want you to go back. A hesitant voice. Even I can understand what she means. Nodding wordlessly, I walk with Arcueid to her room. I enter before her. Behind me, I can sense Arcueid. If I turn around, I know my feelings will rise out of control. But still, my mind is almost surprisingly calm. I don't quite understand it myself, but perhaps it's the contradicting impulse of being insane, yet sane, that loving someone brings. Arcueid, I try to turn around. Before I finish, I feel her hand lightly rest on my back. Don't turn around. Wait, just like this for a while. Her voice is exceedingly calm. My hand on my back doesn't move, as if making sure of something. Hey, Shiki, do you remember when I first waited for you? Yeah, I remember. The one I killed was waiting, with a smiling face. How could I forget? Yeah, back then I really hated you. Despite her words, her voice is very gentle. Arcueid? I knew I wouldn't be able to suppress my vampiric impulses by myself any longer, and I knew this probably would be my chance, and I pursued Roa. I thought I finally found him, and then someone I didn't even know killed me and ruined everything. Back then, all I could feel was hatred. And I found the one who killed me and waited at that road for such a long time. I was thinking you should just hurry up and come here. Once I saw you, I'd make you suffer the same fate. I really did hate you. I hated you so much I thought my chest would burst with hatred as I waited. The pressure on my back increases. Arcueid? But no one has ever killed me like that before. I was a bit curious about what kind of person you were, and I never thought so strongly about someone before. A true enemies to lovers situation, huh? In the beginning, it was just hatred, but it started to slip when I wondered what kind of human you were. Soon, I wanted to meet you to find out about you. The one who killed me like that. And for the first time, I almost lost track of myself. And I kept wondering. Shiki, what you said before about how being by yourself is lonely, I thought that wasn't true. But when I waited for you, the one who I madly thought about, felt happy. I wanted to meet you right away, but it turned out great. I held on and waited for you. It was really fun. I was so excited. I kept imagining what kind of person you were. She pulls her hand from my back. Thinking back, I started to feel the need for someone else from that time, and I felt unsatisfied with just being by myself. You said you liked me, but I think I fell in love with you before we even met. Her voice is just so lovely. There's no need for hesitation. Turning around, I embrace her. Our lips come together naturally. I don't know who started it. Maybe we both did. We just did it gently. We kissed to feel each other's presence just a bit closer. Holding my breath, I take in everything about the way she feels. Her soft lips, the skin that would never touch anything, is touching me right now. Just thinking about it makes my head spin, yet touching her is so warm and relaxing. Her body is trembling lightly, but she doesn't seem to be scared at all. Her closed eyes, the shade of red on her cheeks is so adorable. I really can't believe it. This Arcueid is the one I love so much. I couldn't even imagine that just doing this would make me feel more love toward her. We pull back, still holding each other. We look at each other in embarrassment. That was a kiss, wasn't it? She says this with a deep blush, her red eyes looking up at me imploringly, her golden hair waving before my eyes. Arcueid, you don't like this kind of thing? That's not it. My heart's beating so fast right now. Thump. Certainly her heart is beating loudly. Or is it my heartbeat? She looks straight into my eyes. But this is troubling. I'm wondering if this is really okay. Is what okay? Because there aren't any vampires that kiss. Blushing, she smiles embarrassedly. That gesture was checkmate. Taking off my glasses, I embrace her once more. One more time, not the mutual kiss of before. I do a hungry, searching, stealing kiss. Arcueid sucks in a breath. I don't care. I just can't hold anything back. And kiss her deeply. Arcueid tries to breathe in. I steal even that. I lift her chin and hold her head. covering her lips with mine and intertwining our tongues. I want to become one. Pushing against Arcueid's mouth as she tries to escape, I slip my tongue past her lips. My tongue easily dips into her mouth. The sounds we make, the sensations of our touching tongues easily lets me imagine what we look like. As her tongue tries to pull away, I wrap mine around it. Wrapping, intertwining, sucking, the sensation on the tip of my tongue is almost ticklish, but the sucking on the base of my tongue feels like absolute zero. Unable to breathe, our throats still try to swallow. Her white throat moves painfully, crying for oxygen. At the same time, her mouth sucks my tongue in, and our tongues mix together even more deeply. Moving my tongue, I draw her lip in further. Our breathing, our exploring, all within our mouths. The sounds of our joining fill the air. There's no end. The pleasure from this is enough to make me pass out. Is it because our mouths and tongues are so close to our brains? Meeting like this causes my mind to go blank more than anything I felt before. Pleasure trips a fuse in my brain, threatening to overwhelm me. Our interrupted breathing. At some point, her mouth, which was seeking oxygen, started to tangle her tongue with mine. As our tongues intertwine, they come into my mouth. I realize that was my own voice. I can't believe it. Someone else's tongue. Someone else's tongue is entering my mouth. This feeling, the slight sensation of discomfort of something foreign in my mouth. And above that, this overwhelming pleasure, which feels like it could kill me. We try to breathe as our tongues indulge each other. I had no idea a tongue could generate such a sensation simply by touching another tongue. Just being in contact puts us out of breath. Inhaling, nibbling. Just that makes me go crazy. Makes me unable to think of anything but her. Closing her eyes as if resisting something, Arcueid answers back. It's completely different from our gentle kiss from before. There's only a male and a female here now. Our mouths are already wet. Saliva begins to spill from our lips. From mine to hers, from hers to mine. But it isn't dirty, and like the world's most powerful aphrodisiac, it causes all thought to crumble away. And like that, not just my tongue, but wanting everything to come together, I pull back from Arcueid's mouth. I gasp for air. My chest hurts. I don't know how long we were like that. I can't even breathe properly. But even more than that, I want to touch her body and feel her against me. Shiki? Concerned, Arcueid looks into my face. Her blushing, hesitant expression. Arcueid, I can't stop. I hold her tight. I want to sleep with you. I want you. At first, she gives no answer. Then, keeping her head down, her entire face goes red as she nods. I'm spent. I look down at her as I breathe heavily. She's breathing peacefully as she sleeps. Start to feel a little embarrassed thinking back on it. I feel no regrets over having sex with her. Well, maybe just a little. I wanted to be a bit calmer. Yeah, just a bit. It was a little problematic at the beginning, at least. I'm glad that it seemed to be a little bit nicer towards the end, but that made me a little uncomfortable at the beginning of it. I wanted to be a bit calmer so I could have enjoyed more of the sensation of her skin and the look of her embarrassed expressions. I guess I still can't. I'm doing my best only keeping up with her. Actually, I'm not sure a day will come when I can be calm about Arcueid's body. Even today, I don't remember much about what I did. All I can remember is how good it all felt. If tiredness is any indication of how good it was, I'm so exhausted I can't even walk. Stifling a yawn, I look down at her sleeping face. I really do love her. She answered my selfish love. It might be a different form than the love I'm feeling, but Arcueid needs me too. Just that makes me extremely happy. Not the fact that I needed, but for her, who until now was always alone, for her to need someone else makes me happy. And with this, you're not alone anymore, Arcueid. Everything starts to sway a little. It seems like I'm getting sleepy too. Laying down on my back next to her, I take a deep breath. Like that, I sink into a deep sleep. In the midst of a deep sleep, I have a dream where Arcueid wakes up before me and is doing something terrible. Arcueid is rustling about by herself. What are you doing? I ask. Oh, you're awake, Shiki? Not really. I'm more asleep than awake. Thanks to you, my body isn't quite doing what I tell it to. I see. I'm flattered, but it's a bit embarrassing. Arcueid smiles like a little girl. I think it's strange for me to know what she looks like when I have my eyes closed, but since she looked so happy, I decide to ignore such a trivial thing. Hey, Shiki? What is it? You must be tired too, so you should sleep until nighttime. What if... what if I became a true vampire? What would you do, Shiki? Such a strange question, but that wouldn't ever happen, because you're afraid of drinking blood, right? That's why it's a what-if question. It's only natural to steal other lives to preserve your own in nature, right? So, it's just a story of what if I became like that. Cut it out. That won't ever happen, and I don't like talking about what-ifs. Didn't I say that before? Really? I like what-ifs, not knowing how things will turn out, yet still having hope for at least that moment. That's right, you said something like that before too, Arcueid. Yeah, so I was wondering what I would have done if you were a horrible person. Arcueid? I love you, Shiki. You let me feel this way, and enabled me to tell you like this. You really were kind to me. Why? Why is Arcueid crying? Well, Shiki, I'll be leaving before you wake up. I won't be able to say goodbye directly, so forgive me for doing it this way. The sound of a door shutting. Still sleeping, I hear it close. Alright guys, that's gonna do it for this episode. It was an interesting one. There's a whole thing about this vampire that Arcueid and Ciel are hunting, Roa. I might be confused about that. Ciel made it seem like he was already inside Shiki's body, like he basically went inside a host body, which is Shiki when he was a baby, was like reborn, like reincarnated into someone, and then once they become old enough, then they're aware of their powers. Does that have something to do with Shiki killing that kid when he was young? And if that's the case, Arcueid was saying about how she's gonna like go and take care of Roa. Is she unaware that Roa is in my body? Am I mistaken about the fact that, like, is Roa outside of the body and she like knows where to find him? And then of course there's a whole like they have, you know, Arcueid and Shiki have declared their love for each other, but it seems like she's left him behind, probably being like, I'm still too dangerous. She is dealing with those impulses and she's afraid she's gonna hurt him, so she's like, okay, I need to stay away from you for your sake. And we are coming up to the last day, so I'm assuming we're gonna be finished the Arcueid arc, the Arcueid, pretty soon, which feels like really fast compared to the other visual novels that I tend to play. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. Thank you guys so much for watching. I doubt I'm going to be able to finish this arc in one episode. Maybe it'll be two. We'll see. But I am interested to see like how this is going to end. It still feels like there's so much information we don't know, but that is what completing the other arcs are going to do. They're going to fill in those blanks and kind of like open up the story more, which I'm also interested in. So yeah, that's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned next time for part 9. Until then, bye. Special shoutouts to my top tier patrons: Revealing Storm, Lynn's VA, Lunar, Kenju Storm, iCognito, and Bad Cat.